Hey Denver, we're back, and here's what's happening in your city now. The Juneteenth Music Festival is back in person after a year away, but the celebration goes deeper than the sights and sounds of the weekend.
What we strive to do is to creatively engage folks, to have fun, but also to get some education.
We also take a look at Denver's Pride Fest and its importance to the LGBTQ community.
And that is where we started our journey, was from a small piece of paper as a permit for a march down the sidewalks of Colfax because we weren't allowed to march on the streets.
Plus, we give you a snapshot of a new exhibit at the History Colorado Center highlighting Black life in Denver.
And we're so many different things. We're multidimensional beings. You know, we have emotions, we have anxiety, we have fears, we have dreams and goals, and I wanted to bring that to the forefront.
These stories and more are just ahead on Your City Now. Denver's annual Juneteenth Music Festival is here, and 5 Points will once again be filled with the sights and sounds that make this festival special. 5 Points became the center for the festival in the mid-1950s, and nearly 7 decades worth of memories have been made on the Welton Street corridor.
One day, I was standing there, and all of a sudden this Rolls Royce parted the crowd. And we never saw cars come down during Juneteenth, but this Rolls Royce parted the crowd. And as it came to us, it stopped. And whoever was in that car was about to get out and walk in the building that I was standing in front of. It just so happened to be the father soul, James Brown. I got to see him up close and personal. That happened during Juneteenth.
The one that sticks out the most was the first year that we were able to organize in 2012. And my grandfather, Norman Harris Sr., was able to lead the parade that year. He was about 94, 95 years old. That moment was very powerful for me to see him at the front of the parade.
But those memories were put on pause in 2020 as the pandemic interrupted in-person festivities. But the music is back in a big and exciting way in 2021.
We're hosting a concert Friday, June 18th at Levitt Pavilion with the double platinum selling group 112. Put a cherry on top for Saturday night with DJ Jazzy Jeff. And then Sunday evening, we end at Cleo Parker Robinson's with Juneteenth's version of a Sunday service. Another exciting thing that we have, a new partnership, is with the Center on Colfax and Pride Fest. So we're actually going to be working with Pride Fest to create a shared Black Pride experience.
But behind the music, food, and community, there is so much more that drives the festival and its organizers.
It's beyond just, people coming down to 5 Point and celebrating. What we strive to do is to creatively engage folks, to have fun, but also to get some education. The experience that you learn from being at Juneteenth are things like supporting Black businesses and how we can better circulate our dollars. As we continue to build Juneteenth, what we're hoping to build is the love for African American culture and for everyone to feel okay to celebrate African American culture, right? Because we celebrate a lot of folks' culture and we want everyone to come celebrate ours. It's beautiful. What you'll be able to do is engage with people from our community. And if you see pictures of our festivals and the folks that come and the love that's there, it gives me goosebumps even just talking about it. I mean, it's something that you just have to be there. We create a very festive atmosphere, but that at the heart of it, it's designed to help people understand that we're here to celebrate Juneteenth.
I think we celebrate Juneteenth because we shall never forget the cruel and inhumane system of slavery and the sense of relief and jubilation those slaves must have felt in Galveston when they looked up and saw that U.S. Ranger riding to them on his horse and saying to them, "You're free. You're no longer slaves. President Lincoln has signed the Emancipation Proclamation and it's over." That moment, that whole system of slavery, we must never forget. And that's why we celebrate Juneteenth.
And educating communities about the day is central to understanding why it's important.
We need to tell the story of how people of color were treated And the reason that we need to do that so that we can never repeat it again. So while I'm absolutely excited that we celebrate and recognize that finally reaching the slaves back in Galveston, Texas, we need to recognize we can't have people treated that way. So it's important to celebrate it, but also to remember it as well.
Even though Juneteenth has been celebrated across our country for decades, it's not officially recognized federally or even on the state level here in Colorado. But Denver did recognize it as a city holiday back in February. Many believe that this simple act can help elevate the conversation about social equity and justice in our country.
Again, we need to acknowledge the institution of slavery and what impacts it has had on the African American community.
You know, we're having conversations that honestly I wasn't sure wasn't going to happen in my lifetime. You know, and it's sad that something of the magnitude of the George Floyd murder has to stimulate these conversations. But we need to recognize that as a society we've made a lot of progress, but there are still things that are prohibiting African Americans from having the same equity and equality as their white counterparts.
Once everyone is at the table talking about solutions for the social injustice issues that we have, I think we're like 95% of the way there, once the elephant is out of the room.
So let's have the conversation. Let's do the symbolic gestures. We're going to turn around and elevate Juneteenth as a city holiday. But how do we break down systemic racism, recognizing the white privilege in our society, and make sure that people, no matter what their color, can have the same equal opportunities as everybody else?
And so by celebrating Juneteenth and educating our communities about Juneteenth, what we're ultimately doing is pushing our country to a place of atonement and a place of healing. So Juneteenth is important for us as a country to understand where we've been, so we can forge a better way of where we're going.
The summer party is set to begin. It's Denver Pride Fest, a celebration for everyone, not just the LGBTQ community.
So Denver Pride Fest is the largest in the Rocky Mountain region, and so we usually see about 500,000 people that come to the city of Denver in our festival year. Pride has lots of meanings to different people. It is their coming out story, it's their, kind of how they associate with the community within this time frame that we celebrate 1 month out of the year, which is the Pride season.
This year, the organizers have scheduled a combination of virtual and in-person events. This was done to observe public safety as Denver continues to recover from the pandemic.
This year we are offering different opportunity for people to celebrate whichever way that they're comfortable with doing. I think that's going to also bring a lot of folks to the Denver Pride scene as it is in a virtual world. But typically, we are fully out in a festival in the middle of Civic Center Park and just enjoying ourselves with music and festivities and a parade, and it really is a time that the community will come together to actually just be united and be one.
The free two-day event continues to grow in popularity every year and is hosted by the Center on Colfax.
The very first Pride March permit was pulled in June of 1976, and that's what started the center. And that is where we started our journey, was from a small piece of paper as a permit for a march down the sidewalks of Colfax because we weren't allowed to march on the streets. And now here we are 45 years later. But to the people that pulled the permit in 1976, I say thank you for your bravery. I mean, it's as simple as that, because I can't even imagine the fight that they had to go through, first of all, to even obtain the permit, as a gay organization, a gay march to happen in the city of Denver, being known as the hate state. We have come such a long way as a state, but then we reach hurdles, and I think that happens for every community.
The mission of the center is to engage, empower, and advance the LGBTQ community of Denver. Programs and resources consist of youth groups, advocacy for elders, as well as providing support to transgender and non-binary individuals.
So we do a lot in the space, and sometimes people are walking in here for the very first time during an event, a special event that we will hold. And we have more activists that are happening, especially the young folks that are coming up in Colorado. We have so many young activists just in the state of Colorado. It's a beautiful thing to see, because now it's getting recognized by elders in our community that, oh, these are the younger folks that are going to take over the world eventually. It's in the hands of our youth and it's up to us to cultivate what we want them to produce in the future. So we work with, Juneteenth, Black Pride, One Colorado, a lot of organizations that are out there providing services for people that are underserved or for those that are forgotten. And that's a horrible thing within the community, that we have a lot of forgotten people. And so how do we uplift them? And it's through these other organizations that are able to do that, so we can act as a conduit to support and help them succeed within their festival. This year we have partnered really strongly with Juneteenth Music Festival, as well as the creators of our very first Denver Black Pride Festival that will be happening that same weekend. So that's some really exciting partnerships to move forward, and being able to align all of the organizations to have equal opportunities to celebrate within the community, to celebrate the diversity that we have in Denver and also in Colorado, so that people can come together and they have a weekend where they can celebrate and listen to wonderful music, have delicious food, see their friends and family, and make new friends as they go along.
Everyone is encouraged to join the party. Denver Pride Fest has been rated as the most family-friendly pride in the nation.
One of my favorite things that come out of the word community is the word unity. So that is such an important thing, especially when it comes to Pride festivals across the country. It's so important that people have like-minded folks that they can hang out with for the weekend and celebrate. And there are folks that are coming out of the closet at a teenage age or a youth age, and then we also have elders coming out at the age of 90 years old. So it's such the wide array of folks that come together, and for them to be able to interact and tell their stories to each other, I think that just creates more impactful moments. And it's really important for us as an organization that we're creating spaces that are safe for everybody in the community, that they can come together and celebrate. Yes, it might just be that weekend that they get together every year, but hopefully it sparks conversations and relationships throughout the rest of the year that they can enjoy.
I Am Denver is a storytelling project that aims to capture the voices and faces that make Denver. Producer Amanda Zitzman profiled Evie Oddly, a Denver-based drag queen and winner of Season 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Despite the fact that I don't do what everybody has always done, Denver was really loving and embracing of my drag and lifted me up, even though I didn't fit into like what they're used to. So it was the first taste of somebody appreciating my art, even though it's really out there sometimes. And sometimes I'm just a basic, beautiful lady. It's actually a dream come true to be back home. I've been on the road for quite a while, and so it just really feels special and full circle to come back home for Pride.
This next entertainer was supposed to perform last year. I had her booked for a reasonable fee. And then she went and got selected to do this show called RuPaul's Drag Race. She got selected to do this show called RuPaul's Drag Race. So she had to cancel on me last year. And then she won this show called RuPaul's Drag Race. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible Evie Oddly! superstar, the winner of season 11 RuPaul's Drag Race, Denver's own Yvie Oddly! Denver, happy Pride!
I'm just so happy to be home and be surrounded by such a strong community of beautiful individuals. I know I'm about to be gone a lot, but all of my experiences here are what shaped me into the person I am today. And I love you all so much. You have no idea. Oh, this is so delicious. If anything, I just want this to be proof that if you live out and you live proud, you can accomplish amazing things. You might have to work hard, you might have to fight some obstacles, and there's always going to be people who are against you. But bitch, you can do it. Let's have a killer pride. Let's show the world how it's done.
My name is Yvie Oddly, and I am Denver.
For more stories like this, visit IamDenver.com. Building Denver is currently at the History Colorado Center in Denver. This exhibit is a sweeping retrospective, present-day examination, and a bold look ahead at how our city has been designed and the consequences that have emerged in our physical, social, and emotional spaces. A key part of this exhibit is Black in Denver, a portrait and interview series that takes a critical look at identity, specifically at small Black communities, solitude, and the evolution of the self. It is the creation of local artist Narkita Gold.
What I saw when I moved to Denver, I saw something, I was experiencing something, and I wanted to explore it, you know? So there was a lot of opportunity to grow, opportunity to understand and learn what I was seeing that was so unique.
Gold conducted dozens of interviews surveying both locals and transplants to get a better understanding of Black life in Denver. Series participants offer poignant, poetic, and revealing accounts of life in the city, ranging from the importance of community building to taking up space in an ever-evolving city. Highlights of the interviews accompany each portrait.
And what I've been really wanting to do is to challenge narratives that we see in mainstream media. You know, I really think that, you know, my community has been generalized and homogenized, right? And we're so many different things. We're multidimensional beings. You know, we have emotions, we have anxiety, we have fears, we have dreams and goals, and I wanted to bring that to the forefront. But how I selected my subject was very organic. And when I first started this project, I had a few people that were my friends and a few people, business owners, the places I patronized, you know, so it was just kind of like an organic progression.
Each subject in each photo was shot against a different color background. The colors are as vibrant and varied as the community.
Sometimes someone will say I am the color yellow in their interview, so let's put them in front of the color yellow. Sometimes it depends on their skin tones. So darker skin tones contrast off of like really bright, warm colors, right? Lighter skin tones are nice and cool colors, right? Sometimes if someone has a connection to someone in the community who's in my series, I'll use the same color. Like they're two friends who are both purple, who know each other. You know, someone who's a community gardener, I put her in front of the color green. It represents the earth. My framing is very intentional when I approach my portraits because I really want the viewer to connect with the participant. I want you to see their eyes and see your reflection in them because we're all connected, right?
The exhibit opened in March, and that had a special meaning for Ms. Gold in selecting the subjects for the exhibit.
Because it's March and it was Women's History Month, I decided that I wanted to, you know, uplift the voices of women in this community. But I also wanted to have a very inclusive approach, which is why you have trans women included, you have non-binary folks included, you have cisgendered women, you have all types of women, older, young. So I wanted to be an all-inclusive approach to Women's History Month. as I got into showing the work, I don't realize how many different communities it would touch, right? I really created this work for, you know, the Black community at first, and then as I noticed some of the responses were touching other people, you know, and challenging people, you know, that became something that I've been very proud of. You know, someone actually reached out to me and said, your work has challenged me. It's made me think differently. I didn't know this. It's really beautiful, yeah.
Black in Denver runs through next March. More information about this exhibit and all the other events and exhibits at the History Colorado Center is available online. COVID-19 affected our young people in so many ways. Zoom classes, closed schools, and moments missed were the unfair norm this past year. And for those who played on their school sports teams, many didn't even know if they were going to have a season at all. But these student athletes persevered. Seasons were finished and champions crowned. And along the way, Denver Public Schools brought home its share of hardware over the season. On Wednesday, June 2nd, the city held a ceremony on the front steps of the City and County Building to recognize these champions.
So in the midst of all of our challenges, they gave us a tremendous ray of hope and reason to celebrate.
I stand here today to tell you how proud we are of you, how we have watched this victory with great admiration and humility for all of the hard work that our athletes have put in.
Among the champions was the first female swimmer from Denver North to win a state title in school history.
The love for something and the commitment that comes with it will all be worth it in the end as you take a step closer to your dreams and what you define as success.
More history was made as Israel Ruzendez of Denver East won a title in the first year that girls wrestling was a sanctioned sport in Colorado.
I've been working my entire life to get to this point, so it means a lot to me to prove myself, especially as a female wrestler.
A pair of boys wrestling champions took home individual crowns as well.
Winning it for Denver and winning it for my school and DPS was just, it's amazing. Amazing feeling, amazing accomplishment, and just excited for what's ahead.
All I got to say is I'm thankful for everything, and next stop, Chapel Hill.
Thomas Jefferson captured its first football trophy since 1989, and it proved to be a worthwhile reward after a difficult and trying year.
You know, COVID made our team closer together, made us more resilient, and made us think that nothing's for granted, and really taught us a great life lesson, and it made us like this.
I think just to look around and see the look in everyone's faces and everyone's eyes after going through all the COVID that we went through, and that's been a really awesome part for them because it's been unfair, bottom line, and they just haven't got to have those experiences we all got to have in high school, and to finish up this way has been really great for them, I hope.
For the Far Northeast Warriors, Montbello Warriors, who won their first football title in school history, their victory was about more than the game.
It brings a lot of hope and just excitement back into the community, and it was perfect timing with Montbello, not Far Northeast, Montbello reopening, and it's great. For me, it means a lot to the community because it's about more than football. It's about giving kids back hope, and just to see that not only people that look like them can do it, but prosper while doing it at the same time. So I just hope to see kids move back into the community and play for the community and bring more on.
After a year of uncertainty and struggle, they basked in the June sun as they were honored and celebrated by a proud city.
Man, what a day, man. It's almost giving me the heebie-jeebies again, you know what I'm saying?
Event's dope, man. Like it still feels like a dream to me. It's crazy because it's like we won state and we're getting recognized by Mayor Hancock and just the rest of the community and great people out here.
It's a beautiful day. Everybody showed up. It was just a really beautiful little ceremony thing. I'm really grateful for everybody here.
Tell the kids in the circle there to take a good look over my shoulder at the pillars and this place you got to be today, and you'll be talking about this, and I think it'll mean more to you as the years go by.
This city shaped us, and we appreciate everything it's done for us, and we're very proud to be able to represent it this year, so thank you.
And for a final cherry on top, Mayor Hancock had a little surprise for the champions.
But after we heard about your championships, a couple of us got on the phone call, including Councilwoman Gilmore, and we raised a little money, just over $10,000 to help get started with your championship rings. We want you to get championship rings. Wrestlers are going to get rings. The swimmers are going to get rings. The players are going to get rings. We want every student athlete who won a championship this year to get a ring. Is that all right? Congratulations to you all. Very proud of all of you.
Subscribe to the city's YouTube page and stay tuned to our social media channels for exclusive content. Plus, you can catch new episodes of Your City Now each month. Thanks for watching, Denver.